You've tuned in to Books, Business, and Beyond, the show that teaches you how to maximize your income from your book to create the lifestyle you want. Now here's your host, the international publishing expert who loves green smoothies and reading inspirational thriller novels, Kristen, the Book Ninja Eckstein, and her partner in success, Shelley Hitz.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Books, Business, and Beyond podcast. This is episode 6, and we're going to be talking today about book production secrets. I am your host, Kristen Joy, and with me is Shelley Hitz. So, hello, Shelley.
Hey, everyone.
We're so excited to be here again. And so we're just going to launch right into talking about book production, stuff that goes into it. Those of you who know me and have followed me for a while know that I have started over 50 publishing companies, and I've helped produce over 200 books and ebooks. So some of those are my own. I actually, frankly, lost count how many that I've got. And so I have a lot of insights to share with that. And Shelley, how many books have you written as of the recording of this podcast?
Right now I have 35, but our publishing company has published over 50 with, our other authors. So yeah, I mean, we both have plenty of experience and excited to just dig in on this episode to book production secrets. So Kristen, why don't you start with some of your tips and secrets for book production?
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with one of the top tips. It doesn't matter if you get your book written and put up on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever you're going to sell it, it really doesn't matter at all unless it's edited. Because unless you have good editing, your book is going to suck. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. We are our own worst enemies as writers when it comes to editing our own books. And now I say that tongue in cheek because my Author's Quick Guide series was a challenge of mine, and it was a personal challenge. I didn't have time to hire a professional editor, so I really only had time to do a quick edit myself. However, I will tell you, if you are a writer and you spend 18 weeks writing over almost 200,000 words during that 18 weeks, you're going to get pretty darn good. The more you practice your craft, the better you're going to get at it and the less editing you're going to need. So obviously, if I take a break, which I did, I took a very long 6-month break before I really started writing much other content and articles and things for my blog, I've noticed I've gotten a little bit rusty, and that's when an editor would come in handy. Now, there's 2 different types of books that I talk about editing with. One would be a Kindle series, short little Kindle books, 6,000 to 10,000 words each. We're talking answer just one primary question your audience is searching Google for, so it shows up on Amazon. And then there's also what I like to call your showcase book, which is that big print book that you're going to have at the back of the room when you speak. It's the book that you're going to use to get new clients, to sell your products and programs on the back end, like we've already talked about on this podcast. And we're going to be diving deeper into that in future episodes as well, how you can build out your book with other offerings, like training courses, coaching, all that kind of stuff. But without editing, especially for a showcase book, the Kindle books don't matter quite as much. They still matter. They still have your reputation at stake, especially with Amazon reviews, because you can't get rid of those. They're around forever. But really, your showcase book is where it's at. That's the one you want to definitely invest in a professional editor. So I just want to start off with my just few quick tips about editing. First of all, my own process is that I self-edit first. I finish writing, and then I will take a break for a day or two, and then I'll come back to it and I'll reread what I wrote the couple days before and edit it. Sometimes I read it out loud because there's nothing like reading your book out loud to be able to tell where the stumbling blocks are and where you need some work. And sometimes I read it to myself, just quietly, but really reading it out loud is the best way to go. If you don't have people looking at you funny in your house or if you're not in a public place like Barnes & Noble talking to yourself and people think that you're on meds, definitely try reading your book out loud. And then my second step is to send it to friends and family to read. Friends and family are going to be biased, and most of them are going to want you to like them, so they're not going to be super honest. But, that's just human nature. But try to find friends and encourage them to be honest. And part of friends and family can also be reviewers. So like if you're in a Facebook group that's about your topic, you can ask people in the Facebook group, hey, would any of you be willing to read through my book and review it, and then post a review on Amazon when it goes live, and I'll also feature it inside my book. That does a lot of different things for you. You're getting book reviews, which actually we're going to be diving much deeper into book reviews in a later episode on this podcast, so stay tuned for that. But it also gives you free editors, because most people who like to read books can't help themselves. And they're going to say, hey, oh, we just noticed this typo over here and thought you want to know about it. So you're basically getting people to pay you with a review and edit your book for you, which is just brilliant. And then, of course, the final piece of editing that you really need to have, especially with the showcase book, and eventually, like I will be doing with my Author's Quick Guide series all over again. I'm revising it and I'm going to be republishing it with professional editing this time. And that is hiring another editor. Hire a pro. And there's many different pros out there. The best way to tell if they know what they're talking about is ask them if they use the Chicago Manual of Style. So I've actually taught about editing by itself. I teach about it in my Kindle in 30 challenge, and which actually is going to be going live in my next challenge starts January 1st. Yes, New Year's Day. It will actually start then. So if you want to get in on that, then go to booksbusinessandbeyond.com/Kindle challenge. And I have a whole module where I talk specifically about editing, but we want to cover many different secrets of book production today. So I just wanted to throw that out there as the first one, because it is one of the most important ones you can have.
Yes, I mean, editing is so important. So definitely go to that link if you're interested, and especially if it's your New Year's resolution to finally, get another book published or publish a book. Kristen's challenge is awesome for that. But yeah, editing is so important. And I have been going back in some of my smaller Kindle books that I published previously. I'm getting them professionally edited as well. And it's just a good practice, to do for, definitely your bigger books, like you said. But if you have books that are already out there, you can go back and have them done as well.
Absolutely. There's no reason you shouldn't do that. In fact, I highly recommend you revisit your books about once a year, especially if you've published several.
Yes. And so one of my tips for book production secrets is just to create a repeatable system that you can use over and over, because one of my best marketing tips is to keep writing more books. And if you develop a system and if you develop a process on how you're doing it, and if you have a team that's working with you, you can then be able to publish books more often, more easily. And that's one of the reasons that I've been able to be so prolific, is that I have a repeatable system. I have a repeatable system of, how I write and how I do the, with the formatting and with my team. And so one of the things that I've done with my Kindle series, I've been doing Kindle series for a long time as well. And one of the things I've done, I have a series of books that are 21 prayers. And so it's 21 prayers of gratitude, 21 prayers of generosity. And so it's a similar theme. What I've done is I've created a template for that, for each of those books. And I'm able then to just go into that template, and when I have a new book in that series, type in to that template. And so it's already formatted with the 21 different chapters, and it's already has the intro and the outro stuff. And it just makes it so much easier for me then to come back in, write out the next book, publish it, get all, the editing and like everything that Kristen already mentioned. But having a repeatable system, it's just so important. And everyone's system is going to be different. Kristen's system is different than mine, but definitely, make sure you have your, if you need to, write out your steps, write out the system. And what I have is in the back of my book, Marketing Your Book on Amazon, I have my post-publication checklist. And that checklist came from my own system. It was just simply a text file that I wrote, this is what I need to do after I publish every book, because I was getting so many books and it was just getting confusing, Did I do this? Did I put it on Goodreads? Did I, put it in Author Central? And so what I did is I just created a system that I now use with my books and that I now share with other authors. So that's probably my biggest tip for book production.
That is an awesome tip. And I will tell you, from having managed a team of over 15 people for years when we were doing Done For You publishing, systems are crucial. I mean, if you are outsourcing the production of your book, like you hire an editor, you hire a cover designer, you hire somebody to create the interior layout, somebody to program and convert it to Kindle format for you, you're going to need to keep track of all those different processes. And having a system in place that is basically like a glorified checklist to make sure all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed is super, super important. I will tell you, until we implemented that system, many key things were missed, like copyright getting filed. Important things like making sure we had the LCCN account established before we sent it to print. That was probably our biggest issue, because it does take several days up to several weeks to be able to get that taken care of. And so there's a fine line where all these different parts of the production process need to happen, and there's a specific order that they need to happen in. And we're just highlighting the key things today. So get Shelley's checklist. Which book is that in, Shelley?
It's marketing your book on Amazon. And so, you can definitely gain from the tips as well. There's 21 different ways you can use Amazon for free exposure and, to get more sales. And so there, I go through all those ways, and then at the back I have my post-publication checklist, and definitely encourage you to check that out.
Absolutely. And another one of my little things or tips has to do with a system. And I think you already mentioned it. You mentioned it as far as having a template you can write in, and knowing it already has your 21 things outlined. It's got your fonts chosen for you, your headers and all that kind of stuff is already done. And I do the same thing for cover design. So my Author's Quick Guide series, if you look at the covers, they all look very similar. And that's the secret to a series, by the way. You got to make sure all your covers are similar enough that people know, okay, this is a different book, but this is the same series. I need to collect them all, because you want to be in that collector mindset. I collect Legos and toys, action figures, specifically Star Wars and Marvel, and, Avengers specifically. I have this thing for Captain America. So I actually have a Captain America pointing a gun at me on my desk right now, because he's saying, get to work, trying to motivate me, right?
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, whatever works. And plus, they're fun. And that's just, human beings have a collection mindset. So you want to cater to that mindset, because when you present yourself, your book series, whether it's paperback or Kindle or whatever, but you present it as a collector's item, like think about Star Wars toys, for example. If you go down the toy aisle and you look at the Star Wars toys, they're all the same. All the packaging is almost identical. You've got a couple different lines and series of toys, but each series matches. They have the same cards on the back, the same shaped plastic that the figures are in. Even all the figures have a similar style to them. That's the same thing. I mean, that's been tested and proven by these big, huge companies, by major companies like Lucasfilm, who license this to toy companies to create. And you can leverage the same thing. You can do the same thing for your series and create that I must have them all mindset in your readers. And that is actually the power of cover design, is having more than one book in your series and having them all look like they are something that people should collect.
Yes, and I was just watching a marketing training this week, and they were talking about how people want to fill in the blanks. So if you give a video series, a free video series, and it's an opt-in, and if it says along the top bar, like Lead Pages has a specific template for this, and it says 1 out of 4, they're not going to want to stop, because they see there's 3 other videos, and they want to fill in the blanks, and they want that bar to be complete, And I think it's the same with what you're saying about a series. Like they see, oh, there's these other series. I want to fill in the blanks. I want to make sure it's complete, that it's finished. And that's a very great tip.
And something that I did in the back of my Kindle books, just as a little bonus tip, is I put after my series was done, I put an advertisement, just a picture in the back of my Kindle book of all the book covers in the series, and a header bar at the top that says collect them all. So people automatically know, oh, I can go collect all of these. There's more in this series. I actually had a reader tell me on Facebook, she's like, I posted about one of my books that I was promoting on a countdown deal and said, hey, it's on a countdown deal this weekend. Go grab it. And she wrote me and said, gee, thanks. I just found 4 more of your books. I thought I had all of them. So now I got to go buy all of the rest of them because I have to have the complete set. So, that's one of my biggest production secrets is to create a series and create the series with matching cover designs and professional editing, just because that's your reputation at stake. Your online reputation is worth gold. It's worth the success of you as an author and as an authorpreneur for, having back-end products and services that you want to sell, using your book as a catalyst for that.
Right. And, we all know it. We all know that the competition is growing every day. A lot more people are publishing books because, the ease of publishing. And so anything you can do to make yourself stand out. And the best way to stand out is to have a really quality product. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Quality book cover, quality interior, quality editing, and making sure, you have that quality product so that you can stand out just a little bit more. And then having that series, like, people are going to start seeing you everywhere. Customers who bought this also bought this, and they'll see your book in that spot, or they'll see, like you said, you'll advertise one and then they'll see the other ones. And being able to have those series is just so powerful. And that's why I just love the challenge that you do. And I went through your very first challenge last year, or the beginning of 2014. That was your first one, right, Kristen?
Yeah, January 2014 was the first time I ever ran it.
Yeah, and so I went through it, and it's just awesome. It really gets you thinking of, how to market those books. It's not just about creating them, and so definitely check that out for this next one coming up. And so many people are getting results too, which is exciting to see that in your Facebook group.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you just go scroll through the Facebook group after you join the challenge, you're going to see there's so much experience there. That's one of the sweet spots of this challenge. And that's something else, the repeatable system that I have created with it. And, you can do a live event, and we'll get into all that kind of stuff later, more advanced tactics for being able to build out a business behind a book. And what I did was I created the Author's Quick Guide series, and then I created a Kindle challenge to help people do the same thing and teach them specifically how to create a series. And one of the golden nuggets of this whole thing is that the Facebook group has every single previous member of every challenge in it. So you get the benefit of right now there's over 600 people in the Facebook group, and they all help each other. They're all super helpful. They'll give you feedback on your cover designs, your series covers, let you know what they think from their standpoint of your target audience. It just doesn't get much better than that. And so as far as book production secrets are concerned, which is what this episode is about, that is going to be a key thing and you're going to be hearing about this challenge in the next episode as well, because we want you in the challenge and we want you to be able to take your Kindle marketing to the next level. And marketing begins with production.
Yes.
You can't market a product that frankly is ugly or sucks. You just can't.
And I love the fact that with this whole idea of the book production secrets, getting feedback. So sometimes what you think is an awesome cover just might not be, or what you and your designer come up with. And so that's the power of that Facebook group, because there's all these other authors in there that have been trained and that are, alumni now, and they can give you feedback. And I watch it every day, people giving feedback on cover design and production things, titles, things like that. And so I think being able, either from your tribe, your audience, being able to get some feedback, or a mastermind group in a way, this Facebook group, where you're able to be with other authors and really get their feedback as well, is a powerful part of the process too.
And I mentioned earlier about getting book reviews and getting reviewers to edit your book for you. That is a place you can get that is in Facebook groups. And that's something we welcome in the challenge group, because that's supporting each other. And I mean, I can't tell you a time when somebody posted something about needing reviewers for the book and they didn't get at least 10 responses from people. And they're all going over to Amazon, and they're all helping each other out with posting the reviews on Amazon. And, that it's really cool too, because they'll even tell in the chat about things that, in the comments on the post, they'll talk about things that they found in the book that the author might want to look at. And you can use that to improve your own writing as well.
Yeah, so much benefit. But, our time is winding down, and we hope that you just gained a ton of tips from this session. Next time, we're going to be talking about creating a Kindle series, and so excited about that. Definitely going to go into more depth. Just so excited that you joined us again on this episode of Books, Business, and Beyond.
We'll talk to you next week.
You've been listening to Books, Business, and Beyond, the show that teaches you how to maximize your income from your book to create the lifestyle you want. Visit your host, Kristen the Book Ninja Eckstein, and her partner in success, Shelley Hitz, at booksbusinessandbeyond.com and grab your free gift today. Tune in next time for more ways to diversify your income beyond the book, and don't miss a single episode. Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes.